Hello and welcome to Securing the Future of Agentic AI, Risks, Resilience, and Governance in Autonomous Intelligent Systems. Let's get started. This is part of the SS. So we are going to talk about GRC frameworks, risk management, compliance frameworks, and some hands-on activities. So first of all, we are going to talk about GRC, or governance, risk, and compliance. Why governance, risk, and compliance are essential beyond just technical protection for agentic AI. When it comes to governance frameworks, we have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, ISO 42001. We have the European AI Act, practical guardrails for responsible AI deployment. For risk management, we have the operational, reputational, and strategic risks in AI pipelines, risk registers, and continuous loops. For compliance considerations, we have the GDPR, we have HIPAA, CPRA, FedRAMP, regulatory requirements at the MCP layer. We're going to look at a case study for a SOC analyst, and then we can talk about a hands-on activity as well. So why GRC and agentic AI? Security alone is not enough. Governance transformed AI into a trustworthy system. Agentic AI systems act autonomously in critical domains, such as finance, healthcare, government. Technical security is necessary, but insufficient without governance, risk management, and compliance. Autonomous action. Agentic systems make decisions independently or semi-independently. Errors or misuse propagate without human review. Governance provides the guardrails. From the legal and regulatory perspective, we have the European AI Act. We have the GDPR for Privacy Act. We have the HIPAA, and sector laws require documented oversight. Non-compliance means fines, liability, and operational shutdown. When it comes to multi-agent complexity, you have the MCP-based agents share context across trust boundaries. Without compliance controls, a signal leak can cascade through the entire pipeline. The key insight here is that security without governance is incomplete. Governance without security is ineffective. Again, security alone is not enough. Governance transforms AI into a trustworthy system. The GRC triad for agentic AI. Three interlocking pillars that elevate technical security into operational trust. We have the governance, which are the rules and policies for AI lifecycle, accountability structure, transparency and explainability. This is where we have explainable AI or transparent AI or XAI sometimes, human in the loop oversight. We have the risk, operational, reputational, strategic, risk registers and quantification, continuous monitoring and feedback, adversarial testing, and red teaming. Trustworthy agentic AI sits in the middle. For compliance, we have the GDPR, HIPAA, CPRA, CCPA. We have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework Mapping. We can look at audit logs and reporting, role-based access control, and trustworthy agentic AI sits in the middle here. Governance of agentic AI, standards, accountability, transparency, and oversight. Three major standards anchoring agentic AI deployment worldwide. You have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, which is a US standard. It has the map, measure, manage, and govern. It catalogs MCP exchanges and risk exposure. It measures model explainability and drift. Governs AI lifecycle via documented controls, most widely adapted in US, federal, and enterprise. We have the ISO 42001 AI Management System Standard, policies, roles, processes for AI governance, documentation and continuous improvement, MCP logs and explainability tools support compliance, applicable globally across all industry. Doesn't matter if it's finance, marketing, healthcare, HR, etc. This is the nice thing about ISO 42001. It's applicable across different industries and standards, whether it's the private industry or the public industry. Then we have the EU Act, EU AI Act, which is a legal mandate, which is the first comprehensive AI law. Risk tiered, minimal has high. It has from minimal to low, medium, and high, even critical. High risk means AI will be prohibited if it's something that will impact critical infrastructure like transportation or healthcare, for example. If the risk level is high, then AI adoption or implementation will be prohibited. High-risk AI requires human oversight, of course, mandates transparency and traceability. It has, or it poses fines of up to 35 million euros or 7% global turnover. We have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. The four core functions apply to agentic AI and MCP. You have map, identify, and categorize AI risks in context. For agentic AI, catalog all MCP exchange points, document data flows, and classify risk exposure per agent. For measure, it will quantify and evaluate risk likelihood and impact. The use of metrics, model drift rates, adversarial test results, MCP anomaly counts, explainability scores. For manage, it will apply controls to treat, identify risks implemented, access controls, anonymization, sandboxing, adversarial training, and MCP policy enforcement. Govern, establish organizational culture, policies, and accountability, assign a responsible AI officer, create AI oversight boards, and enforce escalation channels. Accountability structure and transparency. Governance requires clear ownership and explainability mechanisms. Accountability structure. Responsible AI officer will oversee all agentic AI systems. Final authority on compliance decisions. AI oversight board reviews deployments, bias testing, and periodic compliance reports. For escalation channels, form a path for employees to raise ethical concerns without retaliation. AI governance policy, documented rules governing acceptable use, data handling, and review cycles. Transparency and oversight, explainable AI or XAI. It will enable educators, regulators, or auditors to trace why an agent took a particular action. Audit logs will record all MCP context, exchanges, agent decisions, and policy enforcement customers outcomes. For human in the loop, we will maintain ability for humans to override or review agentic AI decisions in critical applications. Risk management in agentic AI. We have operational risk, we have reputational risk, and strategic risk. Risk extends for far beyond technical vulnerabilities. These are the three critical dimensions: operational risks, reputational risks, and strategic risks. Adversarial, under the operational risks, we have adversarial attacks, prompt injection, poisoning, inversion attacks, targeting MCP or agent models, model drift, degradation in model accuracy or behavior over time due to changing data, cascading failures, error in one agent propagates through MCP, causing agentic or systematic breakdown or failure. For reputational risks, we have bias and fairness issues, outputs perceived as discriminatory or unfair, eroding stakeholder trust, misinformation or hallucination, inaccurate or fabricated responses damaging credibility, data breaches, leakage of sensitive MCP context, damaging customer confidence. The mitigation here is explainable AI, differential privacy, and proactive stakeholder engagement. For strategic risks, we have the over-reliance on AI, dependence on opaque multi-agent system in mission-critical processes. We have the regulatory misalignment, failure to comply with evolving AI regulations such as the EU AI Act and sector laws. Competitive disadvantage, lagging in secure adoption while competitors deploy robust AI security. And the mitigation here is scenario planning, periodic audits, red teaming, and roadmap alignment. For compliance considerations, we have GDPR, HIPAA, CPRA, FedRAMP, ISO 42001, and audit reporting. And these are some of the risk and continuous risk management samples. So sample AI risk register. If the risk for prompt injection via MCP is operational, then the likelihood is high and the impact is high. The control is sandboxing. For PII leakage in agentic logs, this is considered a compliance risk. The likelihood here is medium and the impact will be high. This is anonymized PII. Model hallucination and output is considered a reputational risk. Its likelihood is medium and the impact is medium as well. We will use explainable AI review as a mitigation control. Regulatory misalignment, this is a strategic risk with low likelihood but high impact, and the control is a legal audit. Agent cascading failure, this is an operational risk, and the likelihood is low, but the impact is critical. This will be fail-safe as a control. Continuous risk loop, identify new threats from MCP logs, adversarial tests, assess the likelihood and the impact scoring, and then update the register. For mitigation, apply controls and access rules and anonymization. For monitoring, we will look at audit logs, anomaly detection, drift alerts. We will review quarterly and provide feedback into register. Data privacy regulations, we have the GDPR, the European Act, minimize personal data processing, ensure anonymization. MCP exchange must mask usernames, IP addresses, and their personal identifiers. Pseudo-anonymized PII at the MCP layer or boundary, enforced data minimization by default. For HIPAA, this is a US Healthcare Act. It safeguards protected health information. We can do a strict access control and audit login for all MCP exchanges involving health data. And the control here is role gated MCP endpoint, immutable audit logs, PHI never in raw agent context. CPRA, California Privacy Regulation Act here. It expands user rights or Rights Act around data transparency and deletion. MCP mediated exchanges must respect data subject rights or access and erasure. Then we have the FedRAMP, which is a US government law. It revolves around secure handling of federal data. Agentic AI in government stocks must enforce strict authentication and tamper-proof audit trials. We can use multi-factor authentication on all MCP endpoints, cryptographically signed logs, and FedRAMP authorization. For ISO 42001, for AI management system and MCP, we have the policy enforcement, how MCP enables compliance, encode acceptable use, data classification, and redaction rules directly in MCP handlers at the protocol boundary, roles and responsibility, MCP endpoints by service identity and role, prove who is allowed to exchange which context with documented evidence, risk and exchange management, treat MCP schemas, policies, and agent missions as a virgin configuration subject to formal review and approval. Then you have the data governance and minimization, monitoring and government, supplier and third-party control, and incident response, where MCP logs with correlated IDs across agents enable rapid root cause analysis and regulatory reporting. For industry-specific compliance mandates, sector requirements beyond general data privacy regulation. For finance, we have the FFIEC, fraud detection. Agents must not expose sensitive customer records. MCP must align with financial data classification frameworks and audit requirements. Some of the key controls include tokenization of financial data and MCP payloads, role-based context access for fraud agents, immutable transaction audit logs. For healthcare, we have the HIPAA, and for government, we have the FedRAMP and FISMA. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much.